the hidden wife of Noah, discover the incredible descendants of God's sacred covenant. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the earth lay shrouded in darkness, where the hearts of men had turned to wickedness. The cries of despair reached the heavens, and the cries for justice echoed unheard. Among the remnants of creation stood Naamah, daughter of Lamech, whose faith now intertwined with her husband Noah's divine calling, hidden yet integral to the unfolding plan of Yahweh. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and crimson, Noah worked tirelessly on the ark. The timber from the towering gopher trees timbered against the backdrop of a mocking world. Insults flew like arrows from the lips of those who refused to heed the warning, a prelude to the coming deluge. But Naamah, firm in her resolve, stayed steadfast beside her beloved, praying fervently to the God who had spoken to them. In this twilight, she embraced both their daunting task and the promise it carried. "Behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth," the Lord had declared, sealing their fate. With the world around them spiraling into chaos, Naamah's heart fluttered with every hammer strike her husband made. Each nail secured not just the ship that would cradle life but also the hope of God's covenant. Outside, men gathered in revelry, blind to their fate, intoxicated by sin and ignorance. Her hands busied themselves as she tended to the creatures that would shelter in the ark, pairs of every kind, the semblance of life amidst the darkness. With every testimony of creation gathered, Naamah found her purpose calling her. She was a nurturer, a beacon of hope amongst the cacophony of a doomed world. Yet, doubt gnawed at the edges of her faith. Would they be the harbingers of a new legacy, or mere remnants of a forgotten tale? Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select All Notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As night fully consumed the day, foreboding clouds gathered maliciously, the first stirrings of rain lightly kissing the earth. In the distance, thunder rumbled like the echoes of a darkened heart awakened, and Naamah's spirit quivered. The heavens were agitated, and with each drop that splashed upon the ground, echoes of her thoughts surfaced. What awaits us, Lord? What after the waters rise? With a distant but certain roar, the first torrent fell, the sound a sharp reminder of their obedience. Each moment seemed to stretch, yet Naamah found an anchor in the promises laid forth by God. The ark creaked under its load, a testament of their faith, monumental and fragile as it was. She stood firmly by Noah's side, their fingers interwoven, a human tether against the impending storm, her heart racing with love and fear entwined together. The door, vast and heavy, loomed before them as the rain saturated the earth, swirling in now familiar chaos. Will we survive this calamity? She whispered silently to herself, gripping Noah's hands tighter. Together they embodied the hope of renewed creation, an embodiment of faith amid despair as history held its breath in anticipation. The waters would rise, but they clung to the certainty of divine intervention. What legacy would emerge? The question lingered in the silence of their souls, a mysterious prelude to God's unfolding promise. As the rain intensified, drumming against the earth with an ominous rhythm, Naamah found herself drawn to the window of the ark, peering out into the growing tumult of the tempest. The sky erupted with flashes of lightning, illuminating the darkened landscape as if to pierce through the veil of disbelief that bound the hearts of men. Each flash illuminated their makeshift refuge, where humanity clung precariously to hope anchored in obedience. "Have faith, my love," Noah whispered, sensing the tremor in her voice. "The Lord has commanded us, and he shall not abandon what he has set forth." The storm roared, and Naamah took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the scent of damp wood and the life that surrounded her. Inside, the animals stirred, a cacophony of sounds that mingled with the pattering of the rain. Every call echoed a reminder of survival amidst the chaos. She moved among them, speaking soothing words, laying her hands gently on their backs as if to share her heart's quiet assurance. In these creatures, she witnessed a small flicker of God's promise. Meanwhile, outside, the arrogance of the world continued unabated. Men danced and drank, their laughter drowning out the very truth of their impending fate. Let the heavens pour forth, they taunted, enthralled by arrogance and ignorance. But little did they know that the outpouring of wrath soon would sweep away their mocking words. As the rain persisted into the night, Naamah knelt in solemn prayer. O Lord of hosts, our hearts are yours to command. Shield us from the fury of the flood. Remind us that strings of grace entwine with your covenant. And the heavens seemed to hush in response, as if affirming her plea. The weight of promise hung thick in the air, a spiritual charge that echoed within her very being. As days turned to nights, the rains fell for 40 days and 40 nights, transforming the land into a basin of unrelenting water. The ark sailed upon the swelling tide, rising and falling with each wave as though cradled by divine hands. Each hour brought uncertainty, yet Naamah's heart remained steadfast, fortified by remembrance. She recalled the divine message given to Noah, "But with you, I will establish my covenant." On the 22nd day, a profound stillness enveloped creation. The deluge continued, but out on the waters, peace descended upon the ark like a gentle embrace. With her heart still heavy from uncertainty, Naamah felt an unexpected prompting to look for signs of mercy that might accompany the tempest's mercy. "Let me release a raven," Noah declared, as hope eddied through the still air. He did so, watching it soar into the tempest, but it returned, circling, lost to the torrential expanse. Naamah's heart sank with a heavy understanding, the raven was unready for the deluge's end. Yet, within days, Noah summoned courage anew. "I will send out a dove, a symbol of peace," he said, faith alive in his voice despite their isolation. The bird flew forth, a flicker of white against the savage gray, returning after a time with an olive leaf, a divine signal of hope and rebirth. "Oh, the grace of your promise!" Naamah exclaimed, eyes glistening with tears of joy. "Life will emerge once more." Moments later, Noah turned towards her, and their eyes locked in mutual understanding of the covenant bestowed upon them. But beneath the waves, in the silence of the waters, the remnants of the old world struggled against the relentless tides. In this cosmic tableau of creation's renewal, Naamah felt the substance of the promise yet to be fulfilled. Their journey was but a prelude. What awaited them once the tumult abated? What legacy would rise from the depths of this abyss? The questions lingered in the sanctuary of the ark, unspoken hopes rippling through her heart. With a love entwined by faith, she grasped Noah's hand, knowing that God's sovereign plan was still unfolding. The waters may rise, but the promise of faith lived on, poised to reveal what lay beyond the horizon. As the days continued to meld into one another, tranquility settled into the hearts aboard the ark, yet the waters below surged with unyielding fury. Naamah, her spirit once again ignited by the olive leaf's promise, contemplated the unseen future. "What will our new world look like?" she whispered, eyes turning upwards to the heavens, seeking answers beyond the tempest. Days bred into weeks, and Noah sought the Lord earnestly, his prayers rising like incense amidst the stillness. Yet, even in the sacred quiet, Naamah felt the weight of unfulfilled purpose. She turned to her husband, pressing her hand over his heart, a silent reminder of their shared dreams. Then one day, with a renewed spirit, Noah lifted his gaze to the heavens, sensing a shift, a divine breeze amidst the stillness. "The time has come to reopen the door of this great vessel," he proclaimed, confidence tinged with wonder. "Let us see what remains of creation." With a gentle hand, Noah positioned the door of the ark, letting the creaking wood reveal the shimmering expanse outside. The moment was laden with sacred anticipation. Beyond the ark, the land lay transformed, swathed in serenity but marked by desolation. Naamah stepped out, her feet finding the ground where life had once thrived. The air felt pure against her skin, yet filled with the scent of something new, a promise yet to be unfurled. As the sun broke through the remnants of clouds, casting rays of golden warmth upon her face, she felt the urge to kneel. "Thank you, O Lord, for this second chance." The silence was palpable, yet from depths unknown, sounds began to stir. Birds, brighter than she'd remembered, flitted through the trees, their songs weaving a tapestry of praise. The animals also emerged, cautiously stepping upon newly exposed soil as though remembering their place in the Creator's design. "Noah!" Naamah called, beckoning him to join her in observing the reawakening of life. With joy, they embraced this moment, gratitude filling the spaces of their hearts. "Here, in this new dawn, we are called to be stewards," Noah said, determination shimmering in his eyes. "Let us gather the animals, let them multiply and fill the earth once more, in accordance with God's command." Naamah nodded, a sense of divine purpose swelling within her. "And we, my love, must build a legacy," she replied, envisioning a future for their family, one rooted in righteousness and divine covenant. "For from us shall come generations who will remember the Lord and honor His mighty works." As the sun dipped low on that day, a vibrant rainbow arched through the sky, a visible testament to God's covenant with Noah and all creation. The sight filled Naamah with awe, a reminder that the Lord's promises were as unwavering as the heavens themselves. In that moment, Noah and Naamah made an offering of thanksgiving, worshipping the Creator who had delivered them from the brink of extinction. "Blessed be the name of the Lord who preserves life," they declared in unison, hearts intertwining as they lifted their voices into the twilight. But amidst their celebration, the Lord's serene invitation also stirred the depths of Naamah's spirit. "There is more yet to unfold," she thought, her mind racing with possibilities. "What shall come of our endeavors? Who shall rise among us to carry forth this covenant?" Little did they know, in the shadowed expanse of the future, the plans of the Almighty were already set in motion, weaving through generations awaited by counsel yet to be revealed. How would their lineage echo through time, shaping the world beyond the horizon? As they stood together, hands clasped in unity, the whisper of destiny entwined with divine promise lingered in the air, a mystery that would forever beckon them back to the heart of God's sovereign plan. As dawn broke upon the newly restored land, the air sang with vibrant life, yet a solemn weight lingered in the hearts of Noah and Naamah. A sacred charge had been entrusted to them by the Almighty, a mission that extended beyond mere survival. With each step upon the earth, they sensed the gravity of their task. They were to usher forth a new beginning, grounded in divine covenant. Noah gathered his family, speaking with a voice imbued with authority and reverence. "The Lord has preserved us, and now, we must be fruitful and multiply, to replenish the earth," he proclaimed, looking into the eyes of his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. "Let us reflect His glory in our generations, that they may walk in His ways." He gestured toward the expanse that lay before them, the remnants of a world wiped clean yet pregnant with promise. Naamah stood beside him, her heart swelling at the sight of her family, the future unfurling like the petals of a flower. "We are the bearers of hope," she added, her voice steady. "Each child shall be a testament to the faithfulness of God. We must teach them His commandments, that His covenant may be preserved in their hearts." As they spread out across the land, each step resonated with the echoes of creation's renewal. They built altars upon which to offer sacrifices, making fragrant oblations unto the Lord. From every corner of the earth, creatures found refuge with them, a divine orchestration of life amidst the new dawn. Days turned into months, and the ark became a foundation for their new life. Yet, as they labored in fruitfulness, shadows lurked within their hearts. Naamah began to wonder about her own role. "What of our daughters?" she pondered, gazing at the horizon which gave way to mountains and valleys. "How shall they find their place in this unfolding story?" Noah noticed the weight of her thoughts and approached her with tender compassion. "Naamah, trust in God's unfolding plan. He has provided us not only with a future but with those who will carry forth our legacy. Your strength, my beloved, shall inspire our daughters to rise in righteousness." Their exchanges were punctuated by laughter and the lessons of the world that now lay before them. As the family grew, Naamah nurtured the girls, weaving tales of their ancestors and sharing the promise of their lineage, the continuity of faith through generations. One day, as the sun dipped low, Naamah gathered her daughters to share a vision. "Listen now, for the Lord has shown me that our role shall not be confined to the walls of this home. Through our hands, we will shape the fabric of this new creation." Their eyes sparkled with curiosity and resolve, each one a unique reflection of their mother's strength and their father's conviction. Yet, unbeknownst to them, the hand of destiny was already at work, weaving plans for women of valor and men of faith who would arise from their lineage. In time, the earth witnessed a flourishing of life, trees offered shade, fields bore fruit, and streams flowed with fresh waters. But one fateful night, as the stars glittered like gemstones in the sky, the Lord spoke to Noah once more. "Arise, my servant, and prepare for what is to come. A covenant shall renew among your descendants, for I shall establish a promise that shall endure through generations." The weight of those words hung in the air, a divine decree echoing into the future. Naamah felt the tremor of anticipation, her spirit alight with the understanding that the tapestry of their lives was being woven into something far greater than they could fathom. What paths awaited their descendants? What trials and triumphs would they face in the unfolding saga of creation? With hearts kindled by hope and eyes fixed on the heavens, they prepared to walk in faith, knowing the mystery of God's sovereign purpose lay just beyond the horizon, waiting to be revealed. As the days passed and the rhythms of life established themselves anew, Noah sought the Lord, drawn by the promise that hung in the air like the scent of fresh rain. Each morning, he would rise early, endeavoring to understand the fullness of the covenant God had spoken over his seed. The earth had begun to flourish, and with it, a question burned within Noah's heart: what shall become of the nations that arise from my sons? One day, while tending to the animals, Noah felt a deep and troubling stirring within him. The voice of the Lord broke through the silence of his contemplation, saying, "Noah, call forth your sons." With urgency, Noah summoned Shem, Ham, and Japheth, their expressions curious and alert. "Behold," Noah began, his voice steady but filled with profound reverence, "the Lord has willed that a legacy of righteousness shall flow from our lineage. Each of you shall be fathers to many, and from you shall arise nations and kings." Shem, the eldest, nodded solemnly, absorbing the weight of their sacred charge. "What is it that we must do, Father? How do we honor his covenant in our lives?" Noah looked at his sons, remembering their laughter on the ark and the strength they had shown through trials. "You must walk uprightly before him," he instructed. "You shall teach the commandments of the Lord to your children and your children's children, for it is through them that our promise shall unfold." Days turned to seasons, and the family prospered. Daughters were born, their laughter brightening the home, steps echoed in the halls of their new dwelling, testaments to the blessings that surrounded them. Naamah endeavored to nurture the spirits of the women in her household, teaching them the ways of the Lord, imparting wisdom like a lantern guiding through the darkened paths of life. Yet, great was the weight of expectations upon Noah and Naamah, for the echoes of creation's cry called to them, asking, "How do we ensure our legacy remains pure?" As Naamah prepared meals and shared stories, she often pondered the critical roles women would play in generations to come. One evening, gathering the daughters around the fire, she shared stories of righteous women, of Sarah, Rebekah, and Miriam, who shaped destinies with their faith and courage. "You are called to be integral in this unfolding story," Naamah said softly. "The hands of women hold the power to cultivate grace and nurture those who will arise in our lineage." In such moments, the light of understanding flickered to life in her daughters' eyes, their hearts ignited by heavenly purpose. Yet, beneath the surface of their tranquil life, shadows loomed as whispers of unknown futures beckoned. Naamah's heart grew heavy with the weight of what the Lord revealed through dreams and visions, struggles, conflicts, and prophets to come, bearing messages of both hope and warning. One moonlit night, as they gathered in prayer, the voice of God filled the air again: "A day shall come when your descendants shall face trials, yet my covenant will endure. The ground shall tremble upon their obedience, and from them shall flow nations and the seeds of restoration." Though victorious in promise, the gravity of divine foretelling hung over them. Naamah felt a surge of both fear and assurance. She understood her vital role in the tapestry of their legacy, a link between past and future. What tribulations would await? What resilience would be required to uphold God's promise through the ages? With hearts attuned to the divine, they pressed forward, guided by faith, as the fabric of history began to unfold. In the depths of their spirits, a divine mystery remained, whispering of the unfolding and significant steps that would shape the world to come, a sovereign plan that was yet to be fully realized. And it came to pass, in the fullness of time, that Noah felt an urgency within him, as the Lord stirred his spirit for a greater understanding of the promise. With a heart inclined toward obedience, he knelt in prayer, entreating the Almighty for wisdom. O Lord, show me the path that leads my lineage in righteousness. Reveal the purpose that Thou hast woven into the very fabric of our being. As dawn broke and the rays of the sun burst through the clouds, Noah perceived a vision. He beheld a great tree, its branches stretching toward the heavens, laden with fruit, while beneath its roots, a multitude gathered, whispering in hopeful anticipation. He felt the Lord's assurance within him, saying, From your sons shall arise a multitude that shall be as the leaves of this tree, and they shall bear forth much fruit. Encouraged by the revelation, Noah called upon Shem, Ham, and Japheth once more, sharing with them the vision bestowed by the Lord. We are to be as this tree, nurturing the generations to come. We must cultivate a heart of faith and act according to his precepts. Yet in Ham's eyes there flickered a shadow of doubt. Father, what if our descendants turn from the path of righteousness? What if they do not fulfill the calling laid upon them? Noah laid a comforting hand upon his son's shoulder. Their journey is not ours to control, but ours is the duty to instill within them the love of the Lord. Be steadfast in your teaching, and trust in God's faithfulness. For he shall not forsake his covenant. Seasons changed, and as time flowed like waters from the mountains, the family multiplied. Yet, as their numbers grew, so too did the challenges they faced. Tensions arose among the sons, the burdens of expectations heavy upon them, stirring discontent. Naamah observed the unease, her heart heavy with a mother's concern. One deepening twilight, as the stars began to shimmer in the sky, she gathered her daughters, speaking words of encouragement. Fear not, for each of you is called to be a creator alongside our Father. In your hearts, you carry the strength to shine his light, even in the darkest of times. The words of Naamah took root as her daughters, like the burgeoning vines of the land, matured in faith. They began to gather stories from their mothers, weaving a tapestry of hope and resilience. Yet, unbeknownst to them, a shadow lurked close by, seeking to sow discord among the brothers. Then, a great drought descended upon the land, and the fields that had once blossomed turned brittle and dry. The people around them grew anxious, whispers of hardship filled the air. It was in this turbulent season that a deep rift began to echo between Ham and his brothers, as frustrations mounted and trust faltered. One day, Ham spoke aloud a bitter complaint. Why should I toil for our family's future when I am but a servant to the will of my father? Hearing this, Shem's countenance clouded with sorrow as he called forth his brother, saying, Remember the covenant of our father with the Lord. Unity is our strength, let us not divide ourselves at this time of need. But division spread like a creeping vine, and amidst the strife, the Lord's voice came again to Noah in a whisper, Behold, the hearts of men sway like reeds in the wind. Yet, in the face of trials, faith will be the anchor for those who hold fast. Days turned to weeks, and hope rested delicately upon the family. Their legacy was at a critical juncture, the very endurance of God's promise trembling like an unsteady flame. Yet unbeknownst to them, the seeds of blessing lay deep within the hearts of their children, holding the power to birth kingdoms and empires in a world hungry for grace. What paths lay ahead for the sons of Noah? Would their divisions threaten the unfolding promise? And what about the daughters, woven into the legacy yet known? As the winds shifted, the mystery of God remained. He would reveal his sovereign plan in time, for the story of the faithful was far from over. And it came to pass that the drought lingered, a heavy shroud upon the land, ravaging the hopes of many, and the bitterness festered amongst the sons of Noah. Ham, troubled by discontent, wandered far from the homestead, searching for solace in the shadows of the woods where the echoes of his brothers could not reach. In his solitude, he encountered a traveler, weary and worn. The man spoke with a voice like thunder, "Young seeker of strength, your heart grapples with discord. Let me reveal unto you the path of prosperity, should you cast off the yoke of your father's chains." Ham, weary of the burdens laid upon him, questioned with a spark of rebellion, "What is my father's legacy to me but toil? I see neither fortune nor satisfaction in our family's name." The traveler smiled with a knowing yet enigmatic glance. "Trust not in the heritage of man alone, but rather in the cunning of your own hand. The world craves dominion, take what is yours, and reshape the destiny before you." Thus were the seeds of discord sown deeper in Ham's heart, and with that poison took root. Meanwhile, back at the homestead, great tension grew, for Shem and Japheth were searching for a means to mend their fragile family, yet their efforts seemed to bear no fruit. One evening, as twilight wrapped itself around the landscape, Shem gathered the family. "Brothers, though trials bind us, I sense that we, as the branches of our father's vision, can also bend toward one another in times of need. Shall we not seek to unite against the curse of despair?" Yet Japheth, with a heavy heart, replied, "But how can one unite when the fissures grow like deep crevices in the earth? Ham seeks his own counsel, and we do not share one mind." The tension thickened, casting a weight over the family, for the heart of unity lay fractured. Just then, Naamah, inspired by a wellspring of faith, rose to address them. "Though darkness looms, let us not forsake the legacy of our covenant. The Lord's might endures, let us seek him with open hearts, and pray for peace to reign within." So they prayed together, kneeling upon the ground, fervently calling upon the name of the Lord. And as they petitioned, a soft yet profound breeze swept through the land, carrying with it the whispers of heaven. There was a stillness as if the world paused to listen. Then, in an instant, the Spirit of the Lord moved within their hearts, revealing their intertwined destinies like vines upon the tree of life. They witnessed a vision of a future rich with promise, a gathering of tribes drawn from their lineage, singing praises to the Most High, united across generations. But alas! Ham continued to stray, aligning himself with the voices of temptation. He rallied others around him, feeding their discontent, as he sought to carve a separate path apart from his father's legacy. His heart became hardened, and he delved deeper into shadows, paving a road toward uncertainty. The family, believing in God's infallible faithfulness, stood at a precipice of divine intervention. Would Ham's choices unravel the intricate tapestry woven by the hand of God? And would his defiance against the legacy of righteousness awaken the wrath of heaven? Thus was the moment suspended, as the battles between faith and discord raged fiercely. The promise of God loomed, unyielding and righteous, waiting for a chosen moment to unfold. The tendrils of conflict curled tightly, but hope flickered. For from this tumultuous ground, the breath of life would emerge, planting the seeds of generations yet undiscovered. And in the silence of prayer, Naamah perceived a profound truth whisper within her spirit, as if the Creator had destined within her an extraordinary lineage. "The time has come for new prophets and a nation of blessing. Shall I not birth a legacy that reclaims the hearts of men?" Thus, the plot thickened, the colors of destiny danced upon the horizon, and the next chapter awaited its revelation, for the mystery of God's sovereign plan was yet unfurling, and the hearts of his chosen awaited their divine calling. And it came to pass, in the silent hours before dawn, that Ham, restless and consumed by bitterness, wandered deeper into the woods. The shadows grew long and the air thickened with foreboding, as the traveler's words echoed in his mind. "Take what is yours, and reshape your destiny." Resolute, he pondered upon the allure of independence, imagining a realm where he alone would wield authority. In the quietude of his heart, Ham was drawn to a glade where the deepest whispers of temptation resided. There, some of the restless spirits he had assembled before him gathered, seeking strength and reassurance in their shared discontent. Ham stood before them, but the fire within him was not one of true leadership, it was a flickering flame of rebellion. "Come, brothers. Seek not the burdens of our father but rather our own dominion. Let us rise against our inherited chains." Meanwhile, at the homestead, Naamah and her sons were consumed with worry. Shem, fervently aware of his brother's descent, knelt in prayer, his spirit yearning for divine direction. "O Lord, do not forsake us in this trial. Place your hand upon my brother's heart and draw him back from the precipice of despair." Japheth, sensing a heaviness that clung to his mother's spirit, stepped forward. "Let us send out a call, that Ham may return. He is lost, but our love can find him." Naamah, with wisdom born of years and trials, nodded, knowing that their unity would be the beacon that could pierce the shadows. With the dawn breaking, bringing light to the land, Naamah gathered her sons. "We must travel where he roams, for love is relentless, and perhaps we may yet find his heart in the wilderness. The Lord has not abandoned us, let us seek Ham with fervent hope." Thus, they set forth, their steps purposeful yet heavy with sorrow, calling upon the name of the Lord as they went. Journeying through the forest, they raised their voices, echoing out into the emptiness with faith, "Ham, return to us. We will not forsake you." In the glade, Ham, emboldened by the fervor of his newfound company, raised his hands, proclaiming a new order. "We shall forge our own way. No longer will we bow to the legacy of righteous toil. It is time for the children of Noah to seize their own fates." But his speech fell upon ears deafened by discontent, and the gathering murmured uneasily. For in their hearts remained a flicker of doubt, a gnawing awareness that perhaps Ham's path led to darkness. Even as these words flowed like honey from his lips, a sense of unease began to settle. Suddenly, a rustle broke the tension. From the trees emerged Naamah and her sons, standing resolute. She stepped forth, her eyes shining with love yet tempered by urgency. "Ham, my son, humble yourself before the Lord. His ways are perfect, and even now, he desires your heart." The tension quivered in the air. Ham recoiled for a moment, caught between the clamor of the crowd and the gentle voice of his mother. "Mother, you know not my burden. You dare to confront me after all that has transpired?" Naamah, undeterred, pressed on. "We come not to confront, but to reclaim. You are not merely Ham, the son of Noah, but a child of promise. A legacy awaits you, yet hidden in the heart of obedience. Shall you not choose the path of honor?" Her words cut through the miasma of his rebellion, yet Ham struggled, torn by the allure of pride and the tether of love. The gathering waned, silence swallowing their discontent as both factions stood poised at a crossroads. Then it was that a hush fell over the forest, and in the stillness, each heard the heartbeat of destiny, resonating with the weight of the covenant, reminding them all of God's unfailing promises. Yet as Ham grappled with rebellion and the redemptive call of his family, little did they know that the fabric of their choices would weave into the annals of providence, leading to an unforeseen revelation of God's sovereign design. For a new dawn beckoned, and from this conflict would emerge a truth that would shake the foundations of the earth. So the question lingered, would obedience bloom where rebellion sought to take root? In the heart of unity, God's greatest works are often birthed amidst the fiercest storms. And it came to pass that in the glade, amidst the tension of their gathering, Ham stood, his heart heavy with the weight of his choices. The sun's rays began to pierce through the canopy above, illuminating the faces of his family who stood with resolute faith. There they were, Naamah, Shem, and Japheth, clothed in the humility of love, their eyes pleading with understanding and hope. "Even now," Naamah continued, her voice a balm to Ham's troubled soul, "the Lord speaks through us. Do you not hear his whisper, calling you back from the edge? Seek him, my son, for he is close to those who call upon his name." Ham's heart raced, for the truth in her words cut deeper than his defiance. The murmurs from the gathered souls surrounding him faded to an echo, and in focus, he could feel the pull of legacy tugging at the very core of his being. "But what of my desires? What of our destiny to create a new path, free from the weight of our father's shadow. Your desires can lead to destruction, Shem interjected, his tone firm but inviting. The Lord has established a covenant that encompasses all, a path of righteousness that promises peace. To reject it is to wander into darkness. As Ham's mind battled the tumult of his grievance, the others stood beside him, unified not in rebellion, but in their longing for restoration. Japheth finally spoke, his voice quiet yet resolute. We are called to family, dear brother. Our bonds do not constrain us, but rather, they fortify us against the trials ahead. Do not forsake that which unites us. The atmosphere thickened with unspoken words, and Ham felt the stirrings of conflict within. In the trembling silence that followed, a soft rustle of leaves heralded an unusual presence. A solemn wind swept through the glade, as if heaven itself held its breath. All turned to gaze into the woods, where an ethereal glow broke through the mist. From the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in glory, an angelic being, radiant yet humble in demeanor. Fear not, I am sent as a messenger, the being proclaimed, his voice resonating with authority, yet enveloped in an embrace of peace. For you stand at a crossroads, Ham, son of Noah. Your choice holds the weight of many generations. The crowd's discontent gave way to awe, and Ham's heart began to thaw under the piercing gaze of celestial purpose. But what is this burden I carry? Ham whispered, his eyes wide with wonder. The angel smiled gently, his wings unfurling like the sacred tapestry of heaven, revealing a glory that ignited revelation. You carry a legacy not merely of ancestry but of divine promise. Your decisions shall affect the plans of the Almighty, extending beyond yourself and into the hearts of nations yet unborn. Will you honor that plan, or shall you forge a path that leads to ruin? The being continued, his words echoing with the weight of eternity. For you are not alone, Ham. The Lord sees the rebellion in your heart, and yet he calls you to return. Flow back into the river of his covenant, where life and purpose await. With each syllable, Ham felt the rebellion within him ebb like a tide drawn by the moon. He stood between the allure of newfound freedom and the sanctity of belonging, gazing into the eyes of Naamah, Shem, and Japheth, his family, his roots. And in that breathless moment, clarity pierced his soul. To forsake them would be to surrender to shadows, but to embrace them would entwine him once more with the sacred legacy that had been theirs for generations. As the angel stepped back, the air shimmered with expectancy, and Ham found himself at the brink of a decision that would weave further into the tapestry of God's design. Still suspended was the mystery of the Lord's sovereign will, for unbeknownst to those gathered, the consequences of their choices would echo through ages, shaping destinies not yet known. And so, Ham stood in the turning point of providence, as the echoes of prophecy reverberated in the air. What truly lies ahead, shall be revealed in the unfolding of his divine purpose. And from the heart of unity shall rise a legacy that will shake the earth. As the angel's presence faded, the atmosphere shifted, pregnant with the weight of choice. Ham, grappling with the gravity of his decisions, looked into the faces of his family, who had ventured into the glade to win back his heart. In their eyes, he recognized a reflection of his own longing, a desire for connection, purpose, and the steadfast bond of covenant. Brothers, he began, his voice trembling yet resolute, how can I reject the legacy that has borne witness to the faithfulness of our God? You remind me that true strength lies not in rebellion, but in unity. I have strayed, but I long to return. Shem stepped forward, a glimmer of hope igniting in his heart. We will welcome you back, dear brother. The Lord is merciful and his arms are always open. Together, we shall carry forth the mantle of righteousness bestowed upon us. Japheth nodded in agreement, extending his hand toward Ham. Join us once more, and let us walk this journey together, fortified by the truth of our calling. From this moment onward, we shall cultivate a name that reveres our Father and honors the covenant. Ham, quaking in the presence of such love and forgiveness, took their hands, his spirit lifting like a flower embracing the first light of dawn. I accept your kindness, and I shall walk alongside you, fostering a legacy that echoes the promises of our God. And thus, the three brothers turned their hearts toward restoration, united in the sacred embrace of love and forgiveness. In a moment that felt suspended in time, Naamah knelt before them, interceding with fervent gratitude. "O Lord, thank you for bringing our family together again. May our bond be a testament to your enduring mercy." With those words, an extraordinary light glimmered among them. It was the very presence of the Lord, a sign of his covenant, a spirit of renewal invigorating their hearts. The wilderness fell silent as creation itself breathed in the reconnection of the brothers, oblivious to the turmoil that had once threatened their unity. Yet they recognized that this was not an end but a new beginning. Ham would now return to the fold of his family with a resolute heart, ready to embrace the journey ahead as a guardian of the promise. They departed from the glade strengthened, the shadows of discord receding behind them. Upon returning home, they gathered their family and stood united. Naamah, moved by the restoration of her sons, raised her voice. "We are called to be stewards of the earth. Let us remember that our legacy is intertwined with the covenant made between God and our Father. From generation to generation, we shall carry his name into the world." Days turned to weeks as the family flourished under the guidance of faith. They toiled together, celebrating life and the gifts bestowed upon them by God. Busy hands built new homes, offering a sanctuary for all who would seek shelter in the light of the covenant. The spirit of peace reigned, for their love drew them closer to him who crafted their destinies. As the seasons turned, a rainbow stretched across the sky, a miraculous sign of God's promise, unwavering and eternal. Naamah stood beside Noah, gazing at the vibrant colors capturing the light. "Look, my love!" she exclaimed, clinging to his arm. "The Lord has not forgotten his covenant." Noah smiled, the weight of his call lifted as he beheld the beauty of redemption unfolding before him. Indeed, it is a reminder that no matter the trials we face, God remains faithful to his word. From that promise, the descendants of Noah and Naamah multiplied, becoming a tapestry of nations woven through their faith. They passed down stories of the great flood, how God had delivered them and how unity and love eclipsed destruction. Each child born carried within them the legacy of grace, a reminder of the struggle, the reconciliation, and the covenant that would endure. And as generations came to rise, their paths continued to echo the steadfastness of faithfulness as prophecies foretold of a Redeemer, who would one day walk the earth, a promise that would fulfill the very intent of creation itself. Still, there remained an urgency, a calling woven into the heart of Naamah. Let our lineage remember always that with every dawn, we are given purpose anew. Our task is to guide the next generations in the ways of the Lord, illuminating their paths with truth and love. In the sacred moments of prayer and worship, she acknowledged that the struggles and triumphs her family would face were part of a grander design. Thus, the legacy of hope would continue its flight across the skyline of history, manifesting God's grace for all to witness, a testimony to the power of faith among the faithful. Thus closed the chapter of the hidden wife of Noah, but as they gathered around to recount their story, it became apparent that the greatest tale was just beginning to unfold, a story rooted in covenant, love, hope and the unfaltering promise of the Almighty. Now, what sparks lay ahead for those who would follow in faith? How would the descendants of Naamah continue to inspire the world in ways profound and enlightening? You need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's Word. Don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony. Leave a like now to help spread God's Word through the algorithm, and comment your spiritual reflections. How has this biblical story impacted your faith? Lastly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth. For only true believers understand the importance of supporting biblical content through these actions to reach more souls for Christ.